Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new, my name is Bobby. Guys, the Christian-Muslim divide in America continues. Unfortunately, the low IQ neocon conservatives fell for the Zionist propaganda and they're attacking Islam outright. On X we can find the account American Papa Bear, and he writes, "This is how you deal with Islam in America. These Muslim students are praying outside at USF when these Christian patriots confront them and their false quote-unquote religion whilst eating bacon. Take that towel off your head and repent. Give them no ground." Alright guys, let's check it out, but before we do so, as always, if you enjoy my content, leave me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and check out the links in the description box below to further support my work. Thank you very much for that, and now with no further ado, let's have a look.
It's really good. Bacon? Bacon? Anybody? Under the new rules from the Trophy Mom, you can eat bacon. It's a law. You can eat bacon whenever you want.
God commands you to repent. Muhammad is a pedophile. You're praying to a man who's burning in hell. He married a 9-year-old girl, and you're gonna, Muhammad, I spit on the grave of Muhammad.
Don't do that.
Muhammad is in hell. You're gonna burn in hell. You need to repent. You need to get saved and set free. Jesus Christ is coming soon. Take that towel off of your head. Take that towel off of your head. You need to repent. You need to repent. Repent, you child of the devil.
Hey, let him go, let him go.
Back
Let him
up.
go.
You're assaulting him.
Let him go.
That's not how you preach.
Back up.
You need Jesus.
Unlike you, we're not going to break his hands
How you
off.
preach. This is
We're not violent.
You're gonna burn in hell. You're gonna burn in hell.
What do you want?
What do you
What
want?
do you want? Why are you here?
What do you want?
We came here to pray. Why are you here?
You're praying to the devil. That's why you got paid. Right, and this is free speech. You don't have God. You're not my brother. This isn't harassment. This is free speech.
Go back to your country.
This is free speech.
You guys don't have any bombs on you, do
What
you?
you did to give us more ammo to prove you're a bunch of violent psychopaths.
You guys don't have any bombs on you, do you?
I was born here.
Yeah, okay. A great sign of hypocrisy is, of course, when you point the finger and you're accusing people of something that you're doing yourself. Those Christians speak about violence. Those Christians speak about, oh, Islam is forcing us to convert. What are you doing? They're talking about forced conversion. This is literally an attempt for forced conversion. They go to the Muslims, they are minding their own business, they're simply praying. The Christians show up and tell them, you need to repent, you're going to hell, you need to worship Jesus. This is how forced reversion looks like. So you are imposing your religion onto others. Again, this is exactly what they accuse the Muslims of. However, the Muslims were just minding their own business, simply sitting there and praying. However, I know in the comment section we will see many people that will say, oh, mashallah, the patience of the brothers. Honestly, no. If somebody shows up like that and is insulting the Prophet in front of you, I would get up and confront them as well. Not only with speech. And that's all I can say here on YouTube, of course. I want to make this very, very clear here. We're not inciting to violence. However, what the Christians do there is violent. They show up with their bacon, they're eating that, they're insulting, they're spitting in front of you, they're coming very close, they're right in your face. Honestly, I wouldn't have kept my cool. Anyways, look at those comments. Christian warriors rolling up with bacon and Bible verses while they're bowing to Mecca. Absolute legend status. No apologies, no tolerance for intolerance. This is America. Jesus is king. Pork is on the menu. And if you don't like it, the airport's that way. More of this energy. I want to buy this man a beer. Anyway, speaking about projection, this post is absolute gold here, of course. No tolerance for intolerance. This is America. Jesus is king. Pork is on the menu. Man, listen. Nobody, no Muslim, has an issue with you eating pork. If you want to eat pork in America, you can. But you don't have tolerance. That's the whole point here. America is a country founded on religious freedom. So therefore, those guys there have absolute religious freedom to simply pray. They're praying to Jesus' God. This is what they do. And by the way, we as Muslims, we believe that Jesus is the Messiah and that he will return to rule as a king. So therefore, we're not even opposed to the statement Jesus is king. We don't have an issue with that. Anyways, the Muslims weren't complaining about pork. They weren't complaining about Christianity. They didn't walk into your Christian churches and try to convert you to Islam forcefully. But this is exactly what you do. You are the terrorists. Very good. Here we see a post, Matthew 26:39. And he, Jesus, went a little further and fell on his face and prayed. For any Christian that still didn't get the memo, Jesus Christ was not a white guy, he wasn't European, he wasn't American either, he was from the Middle East. And when he prayed, he bowed, he prostrated. And this is something that you can still see in the Orthodox Christian Church.
And many that are strange to me, especially the prostration in prayer that stems back to the earliest Christian practice.
Good work here. They took a screenshot of that video. I didn't notice this. The guy that is dressed up like a Muslim, but it says Jesus is a God. You know what the cool thing is about Islam? You don't have to convince anybody that God is God. Yeah, exactly. In Islam, we simply say there's only one God worthy of worship, and that God is God. There are no gods besides him. But you have to say Jesus is actually God. The Hindus have to say, yeah, but well, Krishna is actually God. So on and so forth. Some people say that Buddha is a sort of God, the most enlightened one. All creations, not the creator. Yeah, but anyways, guys, I would like to say so much more about this subject. Unfortunately, at the moment, I cannot. We got striked a bunch of times by YouTube, therefore I have to lay low. Head over to my Telegram group. There we can talk about this topic in much more depth. All the links are in the description box below. Let me keep on scrolling here. What else is here? Oh my god, how Anyways, this is really a cesspool. There's more hatred towards Islam being spread here. If you hate America, leave. Who told you that those Muslims hate America? They didn't hate it, I guess, until the moment the Americans showed up and were complaining. Here we have a burning Quran, of course. How very creative. Fantastic post over here when the Christian said, take that towel off your head. Yeah, say that to Jesus. Tell him to put the towel off his head. Tell him to get up again because he's praying the wrong way, apparently. Apparently, Jesus has to make the cross. Only then he's a true Christian. Oh, yeah. Here, more racist stuff. Kick Islam out of America. The Quran is a battle plan. Oh my god, this is hilarious. One nation under God, not one nation under Islam. Americans better wake up and stop being silent. And for that you post, I guess, a founding father. Okay, a nation under God. What does that even mean? If there is a God, we would assume that he's only one. And if there is one God, we would have to ask ourselves, what are the rules of God? What does God truly want? And are we really obeying God? America is not under God. First and foremost, America is a secular democracy. You could say it is influenced by Christian values partially. However, it was founded on religious freedom, and the founding fathers escaped religious persecution. They went away from the Church of England. So therefore the question becomes, what religion is that nation truly following? At the moment, as we stated, it is secularism, it is liberalism. So America is not a nation under God. Then you have to further ask questions. Do you want America to be in a theocracy? If you say one nation under God, that would imply a theocracy. So then naturally you have to ask the follow-up question, which religion should dictate that theocracy then? Judaism is impossible. You have Judaism somewhat implemented in Israel, and it is very ethnocentric, of course, so therefore you wouldn't be able to implement that in America, in such a multicultural country. What else do you have left? Buddhism, Hinduism, very unlikely. Okay, you're left with Christianity and Islam. Christians worship the Trinity. Christians worship Jesus Christ. They worship a man. Jesus Christ, sorry to disappoint you, is not God. Jesus Christ showed you a beautiful way of how to pray to the Father alone. He even gave you the prayer, Our Father. He didn't say, pray to the Trinity, pray to me, worship me. None of this is found within the Bible. But anyways, point of the story is, you're talking about a nation under God, which is a secular nation, which is not even under religion at the moment, and then you're appealing to Christianity, which is not purely monotheistic. Islam is the only religion that is purely monotheistic and worships God alone. So if you really want to be a nation under God, accept Islam. Alright guys, but this is it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, leave it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and check out the links in the description box below to further support my work. Thank you very much for that, I appreciate it. And as always, may God bless you all. Much love and peace.
يا نفس إن لم تظفري لا تجزعي